everyone. How's things going on your end? Everything's good here. I've been waiting to do this one. You saw me unbox this one, so excuse me just a second here. I'm going to pull up a tag because we're going to do a tag today while I do this. And I wasn't prepared, so I've got to pull it up here. So yeah, you saw me unbox my Hank Custom. It's 50 by 75, and I've been working on the Statue of Liberty. A little more than halfway done with that, but I figured it's about time to go ahead and kit up the Hank Custom because that would be my next project to work on. So while I've got you here, I'll let you check out my progress so far on my Statue of Liberty. You can see that. It's starting to look pretty good. It's coming along great. I absolutely love it. The colors on this are amazing. It's my first Diamond Art Club, so yeah, it's just beautiful. I love it. And I do have the big new arrival Statue of Liberty on its way. It should be here tomorrow, so you get to see me unbox that one. But for right now, we're going to kit up Hank, and we can get it all ready to go, and maybe I'll even start on that this evening. I don't know yet. Probably jump into a live tonight and start on this one while I'm doing that. Put the Statue of Liberty on hold for just a little while, even though I'm enjoying it so much. But yeah, I figured while I kit this up, because it's going to take a little while, I would go ahead and do some kind of a get to know me tag. Why not? We'll see how this one works. So yeah, I've got my two 24 count Harbor Freight kits left, got ready to go. I've got my two bags of drills, and I also made an extra copy of the inventory sheet so that way I could have one to work off of and one to put through my sticker maker here. So let me put my containers over to the side. There we go. And we will go ahead and cut this out while I'm answering questions. Okay, the first question is, please tell me, when were you born? When was I born? I was born in the month of August 1973. Yeah, I'm an old fart now. So yeah, that makes me almost 46. I will be 46 next month. And what is my full name, and am I proud of it? Seriously? Am I proud of it? Well, if you're not proud of your own name, you can always go change it. It only costs about $70-some over at the courthouse to go change your name. So, you know, if you don't already have the name you want, you can go take care of it and be proud of it. But yes, I am proud of my name. My name is David Wayne Lochner. I'm so proud of it that I named my son, my first son, after me. So yeah, I'm proud of my name. Am I named after someone? And if yes, after whom? I actually was born a junior. I was born David Wayne Schuhart Jr. My mother and father got a divorce, and my last name, well, my grandparents adopted me at 3 years old. They adopted me, so I became David Wayne Lochner and no junior afterwards. So yeah, I was named after my real dad, and him and I are on talking terms, and we talk from time to time on Facebook, and I'd kind of like to get a chance to go down to Florida and see him. He lives down near Daytona, and me being a big NASCAR fan, I would love to go down and visit him and go to the race with him sometime. We've discussed it in the past, it just hasn't worked out yet. Where are you from, and are you proud of it? Why do they want to know if I'm proud of it? Do y'all really want to know if I'm proud of where I'm from? I mean, you can't control those things. So why, I don't get it. Okay. Where am I from? Okay, where am I from is a good question because there's a lot of places that are kind of mixed up inside of me. I was born in North Carolina. At 3 months of age, I was taken in by my grandparents in Maryland, and that's where I was raised and where I went to school, where I graduated high school, and it's still kind of where I call home. Maryland will always be home, little tiny town on the Eastern Shore. So that's where I'm from. Am I proud of it? Yeah, I'm proud of where I'm from. Everybody should be proud of where you're from. I mean, that's part of what made you who you are and made me who I am is the culture I grew up in. I mean, I grew up in a rural, small town culture on the eastern shore of Maryland, and that's kind of formed me into who I am now. Was how I was brought up in that. So yeah, I'm proud of that. Do you love playing any sports or just watching? Uh, I used to like playing softball, and if I had the chance now to quote unquote play a sport, I would actually probably play. Well, it's not really playing. I would actually be a race car driver. I love racing cars. I love watching them. And so now I guess I'd say I enjoy watching more than I enjoy playing. I love watching NASCAR every Sunday. Anytime NASCAR is on TV, I go into Do Not Disturb mode. So yeah, if I could do it, I would drive a race car. And I've actually thought about investing the money into a a car for the local track around here, hobby stock or something like that. Something that wouldn't be super expensive to maintain and race on a weekly basis. Alright, we got a sticker sheet here. We have an inventory sticker. There we go. Crinkles, crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. I do enjoy watching football as well. I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan all the way, 100%. And I'm also a Baltimore Orioles fan, so I do like watching baseball. I can't sit and watch a whole baseball game on TV. Oh, no. Won't. Can't do it. They're just so long, so boring, but I've been to a few games in the stands, and used to go watch the San Diego Padres when I was stationed in San Diego in the Navy, and I used to love going to the ball game. But as far as sitting and watching baseball on TV, no. I have played golf, and I enjoy it. I haven't done it in quite a long time, but I would love to get back into playing golf at some point. So yeah, I'm not a super active sports person as far as actively doing the sports, but I enjoy watching a lot of different sports, and if I can partake, I do. I mean, just my advanced age is getting to the point now where, going out and playing football in the backyard with the guys hurts. I used to when I was in my 20s. Yeah, I'd go out and rough it up with the best of them. Not anymore. Which one is better, basketball or baseball? I'm not a basketball fan. Never have been. Never. No. Just baseball's better. My favorite person in modern history. Who is your favorite person in modern history? I don't know. I really don't know who my favorite person in modern history is. Right off the top of my head, when does modern history start? It doesn't say. When does modern history start? If we go into modern history starting in let's say the 1950s onward, my favorite person, probably Neil Armstrong, one of my heroes. Hold up, lots of crinkle. Ugh. Neil Armstrong would be my favorite person in modern history. And pretty much anybody that was part of that space program through the 70s and 50s and 60s, when the Mercury and the Gemini and the Apollo missions, they were all kind of my childhood heroes. Them and the shuttle astronauts. I actually have scrapbooks of autographed 8x10 official photographs of most of the shuttle astronauts from the 80s. So yeah, astronauts were my heroes, so most of them are my favorite person in modern history. That's the best way I can put it. I don't really have any specific, but if one of them had to come to mind, it would be Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong, just because he was the commander of the Apollo 11 mission, he got to be the first man to walk on the moon. If Buzz Aldrin would have been the commander, he would have been on the other side of the lunar module after they landed. He wouldn't have been the one closest to the door, or he would have been the one closest to the door, and he would have gotten out first. That was what really determined who walked on the moon first, was their positioning in the lunar module. So really, they both walked on the moon. They both landed on the moon. Neil Armstrong was the first one to stand on it. That's all. Not taking away from his accomplishments, but So yeah, the astronauts were my favorite people in modern history. My favorite writer in modern history. That's it. I'm torn on that. There's two. You got Jerry B. Jenkins. For any of you who may or may not follow that type of book, there is a awesome series of books that were put out through the 90s, and they were entitled the Left Behind series. If you're not familiar with Christian teachings, it's a fictional novel based upon biblical prophecy of the end times and what's supposed to go down. It just places characters into a fictional, it places fictional characters into a prophetic timeline that is dictated by biblical prophecy. So if you're not into the Christian thing, you probably wouldn't like the books, but I'd still recommend them if you can, if you want to look past the biblical teachings that are within the storyline. It's a really, really good, basically post-apocalyptic novel series. That was one of my favorite writers, modern writers. And then George R.R. Martin. Thank you, Mr. Martin, for the Game of Thrones series. That was a great set of books. I'll admit I did not physically read them. I listened to them on audiobook, which, it counts. I listened to them on audiobook. So I read them in my mind as somebody else was reading it to me. And so yeah, George R.R. Martin and Jerry B. Jenkins. Those are my two modern favorite authors. Who is your favorite musician from the 20th century? Metallica! 4 guys. James, Kirk, Rob. Well, actually, take that back, because there was 3 different bassists. So, you got, it was 4, 5, 6, with the 2 different other bassists. And then you have one other guitarist who went off and formed his own band after the beginning. So you have James Hetfield, you have Kirk Hammett, you have Lars Ulrich, and you have Rob Trujillo. That's the modern Metallica, which Rob has been the bassist longer than any other previous bassist, but their founding bassist died. Yep. Yeah. So Cliff Burton, rest in peace, was a great bass player. He was the founding bassist of Metallica, and he was a big inspiration in their first 3 albums. He wrote a lot of their music. He was very influential in the band and in the way that they made it. If it wouldn't have been for Cliff, I don't think Metallica would be as big as it is today, because Cliff had a lot of early input in the band and in the direction which they traveled. But then you still had Jason Newsted, who was with them through the whole Black Album and Justice for All and Garage Inc. So yeah, you got Newsted there, and of course Newsted was in through all of the Load and Reload and Saint Anger. Well, he wasn't on Saint Anger; he had already quit the band by then. But then you had Rob Trujillo, who has been the longest-standing bass player for Metallica, and he's pretty much now what I picture when I picture Metallica. I don't even picture Jason Newsted anymore, even though that was through my high school years was Jason Newsted. Then you also had the lead singer of Megadeth, Dave Mustaine, was the original guitarist for Metallica, and they kicked him out of the band for being an alcoholic, and he still holds a grudge to this day. But we count him because he's a founding member, but he formed Megadeth, and he's doing good all on his own now, and he needs to get over it. So yeah, my modern favorite musician from 20th century is Metallica. Which do you prefer, Daft Punk or Gorillaz? Who? Okay, we'll skip that one. Do you love animals? If yes, then which one do you love the most? Yes, I love animals. Don't get me wrong, I hunt, I fish. I do. I like to eat animals too. But I love animals. I think they're gorgeous to look at, and I think they are wonderful critters out there running around that are fun to watch. But my favorite animal that I love the most is, you should know, that's the animal I love the most. My Hank. My Hank is in there sleeping under my bed right now. I'm sure he probably hears me talking, and he's probably like, Dad, I'm going to come out and bother you because I know you're making a video and I want to be in it and I want all of your attention, so I'm going to come and photobomb your video, Dad. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. Do I have children, and how many? Yes, well, they're not children anymore. The youngest one is over 21, so they're all adults. 3 of the 4 are married. Yes, I have 4. 3 of them are married. 2 of them have children of their own. I have 2 granddaughters and a 3rd granddaughter on the way, due later on this fall. Yeah. Keep telling my kid he needs to put the stem on the apple. Yeah. We need a grandson too, kid. And if you have children, what is their name? My oldest is named after me. It's David Wayne Jr. Then I have a girl, Charity, which is interesting there. And then we have Joey, who is actually Leon Joseph. We call him Joey. Just like my son, David Wayne Jr., we call him Wayne. Simply to avoid the confusion when he was little. You know, having 2 of us in the house, we called him by his middle name. And then we have the youngest is Shauna. Interesting story. My My oldest, of course, is named after me. I always said my first boy was going to be named after me. And so we got a junior. I got my junior right off the bat. And then I had a girl, Charity. Well, we couldn't figure out what a name for her was. And I suggested the name Charity, and my ex-wife liked it, so it's what we went with. But the interesting thing is, what my ex-wife does not know is Charity, the name stuck with me after high school. I had a crush on this girl that sat in front of me in math class, and her name was Charity. I don't think she even knew I existed. I never made it a point to ever say anything or pass her notes or anything. I just had a secret crush on her in high school. And her name was Charity. And so I always liked that girl name. And so when we found out we were having a girl, I suggested Charity. And that's how we got my daughter's name. And of course her middle name is a family name. All of the women in my ex-wife's family have the name Marie for a middle name. So her grandmother I know does, and her mother has the name Marie, and of course my ex-wife's middle name was Marie, so it was just natural that the first daughter got the Marie, so she's Charity Marie. The third kid, Joey, we call him Joey, his name is Leon Joseph. My best friend in high school was Leon Joseph. I mean, the very best friend anybody could ever have was Leon Joseph. We were inseparable. We were, as they say, brothers from another mother. We were always together, inseparably together. I graduated high school a year ahead of him, and I joined the Navy, and while I was in boot camp that next early fall, I got word that he was diagnosed with leukemia, and it didn't go well for him. He did make it to graduation. He graduated high school, he got his diploma, and then not very long afterwards he passed away from leukemia. So I always said I wanted a boy named Leon Joseph so that I could name him in his honor, and that's what I did. So that's where my son Joey's name comes from. And Shauna, I don't even know how he came up with Shauna. Oh yes, that's right, I remember. NASCAR fan. My ex-wife and I used to go to a lot of NASCAR races, and we got to meet a female NASCAR driver at the time. Her name was Shauna Robinson, and that's how Shauna got her name. So yep, there's my 4 children and their names. How many children do you want to have? No more. Okay, that's answered that one. Oh, there's Hank. And are you married or single, and why? Why is anybody single? You're single because you're single, because you're not in a relationship. I am single. I am previously married. I am divorced. I'm single now, kind of because I want to be, but also because I just haven't found somebody. I enjoy, in a way, I kind of enjoy my life alone. I really do. Time for me to start going through colors here. So many pretty Hank colors. I don't even know how many I'm supposed to have of that. Oh, it's just probably 2 packets. Okay. But yeah, oh, I've only got 1 packet of that. Oh, I hope that's going to be enough for that color. EverMoment's supposed to send you enough, but I need 277 of that color, and I don't think I have 277 in that little packet. Maybe there's a second packet of it here somewhere. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. I hope that's the case. Oh yes, there we go. There it is. 2 packets of 154. So yeah, where was I at? So yeah, I'm single. I am looking, but I'm kind of not, if that's the best way to put it. Um, I'm happy in the situation I'm in right now. I don't know that I could afford, as far as money wise, to get into a relationship right now. At least not one where I would have to spend a lot of money going on dates and that sort of thing. Um, Give it a little while. Let me get back on my feet as far as things go after my accident, and we'll see about that part. But if I was to meet the right person, I would not. If I was to meet the right person, I would not turn down the opportunity to not be single anymore. It just would matter. Just would depend on how it works out, I guess, is the best way to put it. So yeah, that's why I'm single. If you are not married, when are you going to get married? Who the hell wrote these questions? I don't know. On January 15th, 2032, I will get married. If that's the answer they want. I don't know. What is your favorite drink of all? Usually the green, the yellow, normal, everyday yellow version flavor of it. But this Liberty Brew tastes really, really good. Word of warning. Mountain Dew Liberty Brew is an excellent flavor. What it is, it's actually all 50 states' official fruits mixed into one flavor. So you get 50 flavors in one, as it says on there. You're getting the flavoring of each one of the states' official fruit flavors, and it is really good. But the warning is, if you drink it, you're going to end up with teal colored poop. Yes, I'm not lying. It's. I almost went to the doctor. I almost went to the doctor the first time, and I was like, okay, yeah, I know what's causing it now, because actually I looked it up. I Googled it, and sure enough, I'm not the only one with the problem. It's true. Teal colored poop. That's my favorite drink of all, is Mountain Dew. I'm a Mountain Dew drinker. But I do also drink coffee, quite a bit of that. I like the bottled Starbucks Frappuccinos. I get one of those every morning on my way to work. So I like coffee. I really do. And the next question is, do you have a favorite basketball player? No. Next. What is your greatest achievement in high school? Graduating? Making it all the way to the end? Not quitting? Yeah, that's my greatest achievement in high school. Do you want to have a business? Yes, I do want to have my own business. I have, dump out the other packet here. I have about 15 years of graphic design, web design, 3D, CGI design, and video editing experience. All of it is self-taught. All of it has been done on my own. Actually, it's probably more than 15 years now, looking back at it. I started in, well, no, I guess 2020 will be 15 years, because I really got started, well, no. I really got started with the web design in like 96, when I started writing HTML. I started learning HTML then and building web pages. Hank, get out of that. Get out of those. I moved on from that into photo editing and all that. So really, if you want to be 100% accurate, I started in 1996. So 2006 would have been 10 years. 2016 would have been 15 years or 20 years. So if you really want to say I've got close to 23 years of experience in that field of work, and wasn't work. I've never had a job doing it, so I would like to start my own business doing design work of some sort, and it's just a matter of finding a way to make it take off. And Hank decided he wanted to lay down here in the middle of my kit up. He's a mess. Yep, there he is. There's the Hank. That's the Hankster. Here's my buddy. Yeah, him's my buddy. He's just stretching out across my desk now. But yeah, I would like to start my own business doing that. I would love to work for myself one day. And what is your most favorite scene from movies? Mine's an odd one. My favorite scene from a movie is the movie Gettysburg. It's basically based on the book Killer Angels, which was about the Battle of Gettysburg. And I'm a huge Civil War buff, so I went to the 150th anniversary celebration of Gettysburg in 2013, and I did all the battle walks that took place at the different parts of the battlefield that were literally 150 years to the minute from the same time the action was going on in that area of the battlefield. So it was like really cool being there for that. And but in the movie Gettysburg, if anybody knows about the battle on the third day preceding Pickett's charge, which was that charge was the absolute turning point of the Civil War. The South had won everything up to that point, and Lee just kind of felt invincible, so he sent all of his troops out across this mile-wide field right in the face of the enemy and just marched them straight across this field, straight to the center of the enemy lines. He thought he was going to win, and he didn't. And from that point forward, it was kind of the North took the upper hand. And even though the war went on for another 2 years, the South really wasn't the same as what it had been before that. But preceding Pickett's charge, there was a 2.5 hour long cannonade. Lee's point was, I'm going to point every cannon I've got at the center of the northern line, and I'm just going to shoot cannons at that area and break the center of that line with cannon fire until I almost run out of ammo. And that's what he tried to do. The only problem is the southern cannon overshot the northern line and fell behind the lines, not doing the damage it was supposed to do, and it gave the northern cannons a chance to return fire, and the rest, as they say, is history, literally. But the cannonade was heard as far south as Washington, D.C. President Lincoln actually heard it from the roof of the White House. And in the movie Gettysburg, it is so well portrayed by reenactors that you feel like you're there when you're watching it on TV. It's a great experience in a movie. It's one of my favorite scenes ever in a movie. Do you love music? Which genre is your favorite? Yep, I love music. My favorite genre is metal. I'm a heavy metal fan. I like some death metal. I like some glam metal, like Motley Crue, Def Leppard, 80s hair bands. In fact, the 80s hair bands is what I play all the time in my car when I'm doing my lift. My passengers love it. They get in the car, they start singing along because everybody knows those old songs, Pour Some Sugar on Me, Girls, 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 Dr. Feelgood, Paradise City, Kiss music from the 80s. Oh yeah. So all of my riders sing along, even the younger ones. You'd be surprised how many younger kids in college know Poison, and they know Def Leppard, and they know Motley Crue, and they like it because that's what their parents always listened to when they were growing up. So yeah, that's my favorite music. Please tell me which one is your favorite, old school rap or today's new age rap? Neither. Neither. I don't want either. Neither one. Y'all need to see this. I think he's broke. He's broken. I broke Hank. So yeah, neither one. I'm not a rap person. I don't like rap. I don't care for it. I'm not a fan of it. How tall are you, and have you dreamed of ever being taller? No, I'm happy with me. I'm 5'7", and I've been 5'7" since 10th grade in high school. I stopped growing in 10th grade. That's it. I'm 5'7". Have I ever dreamed about being taller? No, not really. Not particularly. Hi, Hank. I see you there. Are you proud of your points in high school? Am I proud of my points? Not particularly. I was a below average high school student. Just because I didn't want to be there. I didn't like going to school. I didn't like being there. I was your typical teenager, like, why do I need this? I don't need to know this. I don't need to understand this. I did like civics class. I took American civics, and I liked that. We took another class where basically and I wish this was something that every school was a required course in school, because our school had it. It wasn't required. It was an elective, but I needed an elective, and I didn't want to take home ec, so I took it was kind of like a civics class, but it wasn't. It was more of a current events class, is what I call it. Basically, the teacher taught us how to take several different newspapers versions of the same story and to draw our own conclusion after reading all of them. So basically, you'd have a copy of Newsweek, you'd have a copy of Time, you'd have a copy of USA Today, you'd have a copy of the local newspaper, and you'd have a copy of another newspaper somewhere. And you would basically find the same article about the same story. And you could actually decode the spin on the story from one publication to another and describe whether it was more of a left-leaning bias or more of a right-leaning bias. And then you were able to actually decode what the story actually was by taking out the bias, by finding the common truths amongst all the versions of the story. Ow, Hank. Ow, stop. What are you doing? He's grabbing my hand in between his paws and then pulling in and biting. He's a weirdo. But yeah, it was a way to basically remove bias from news stories and find out what the actual news was. And that's where I'm grateful I actually took that class, because now I can read an article and look at it and go, oh, this is a left-biased article, or oh, this is a right-biased article, and I can actually compare notes on the two, basically, and find out this is what actually happened, and take out all of the opinion that most writers put into it because of what their publication says they need to. But yeah, no, otherwise I'm not really proud of my grades in high school. I didn't apply myself. I went to college and I got a 4.9 or 3.98 grade point average. The only thing that kept me from a 4.0 all the way through college was a C on my calculus final in the very last week of school. So yeah, I got hundreds. Literally, I got hundreds on everything except my calculus final. Where am I at here? What is your favorite number, and please tell us why? 11. 11 for me has popped up all over the place in my... This cat, I swear. He's a ham. He really is. The number 11 has popped up all over the place in my life. So yeah, the number 11. And have you ever been on any bridge? Do you like bridges? Did a 13-year-old girl write this? Have you ever been on any bridge? Do you like bridges? Yeah. In Maryland, we have the Chesapeake Bay. And across the Chesapeake Bay is a bridge called the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. It goes from Annapolis, Maryland over to Kent Island, Maryland on the eastern shore. That's the east-west route across the Chesapeake Bay. There is a north-to-south route, which is on the lower tip of the eastern shore of the Delmarva Peninsula, and it goes all the way to Norfolk, Virginia, and it's like 20 miles long, and it's a combination of bridge and tunnel. You get a bridge for a bunch of miles, and then you get a tunnel for a mile or two, and then you get another bridge section for a couple miles. That's actually a really cool bridge. But no, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge in Maryland has been considered the U.S.'s most scary bridge because it goes so high off the water. Aircraft carriers can go under it easily. Large tanker and cargo ships can go under it easily. Crane ships can go underneath of it easily. Crane barges. It's a massive, like 6.5 mile long bridge. And it's so scary that there's actually companies that contract that are based at the bridge, and all they do is they provide drivers that will drive your car across the bridge for you, because if you're scared to drive on it, because it is kind of a tight squeeze. It's 3 lanes wide in each direction, and you got truck traffic and everything going across there, and if you're in one of the 2 right lanes, you are right up against the railing, and it is kind of intimidating for some people. But yeah, do I like bridges? You got to use them to get places. Yeah. Do you have a fear of anything? If it's not secret, please tell us what you fear the most. As far as like fear of heights, that kind of stuff, no, not really. I forgot there's a name for it. The fear of pooping at work. Yeah. Or pooping in a public restroom. I prefer to use my own at home. I don't like doing it at work or in public. I'm embarrassed by somebody hearing or smelling things that emanate from me. So, yeah. There is a name for that too, by the way. The fear of pooping at work or something. Yeah. But I mean, that's really, I don't even count that because that's not a common fear like heights or whatever. And there's not really a whole lot. My biggest fear in life is that I'm going to be a failure. Yeah, I fear failure. I fear being a failure in life. Where am I working right now? I'm working for a company. We do magnesium aircraft parts. They are shipped to us as bare magnesium, mostly like transmission housings, different engine housings for parts of the motors and transmissions. And we take those and we rack them up onto big racks, and I already got one pulled out. We rack them up onto big racks, and they get run through a chemical process with high voltage and current applied to them, and the chemicals that they're in, when they get the voltage applied, causes the parts to turn white. And it's actually a layer of corrosion, so that the coating that's there isn't just a coating on the outside of metal, it's actually part of the metal. It's part of the metal. It's a corrosion layer. So we do that, and then we ship the parts back to the manufacturer to get put onto helicopters, mostly. Some of the parts we do go on the F-35 fighter. We also do stuff for like optical parts, like parts for like gun binoculars, night vision glasses, stuff like that as well. The housings for those type of things, and that's called optical. But we do some of that as well, and we do it for gun scopes. Some of the parts we have are off of gun scopes, and also some of the housings for the magazine and housings of guns and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what we do. And have you ever dreamed of being a successful lawyer? No. Next. Which actor is your favorite, Al Pacino or Robert De Niro? I like Pacino. Yeah. There's not really a reason why. Because De Niro was good too. I like De Niro in Meet the Fockers. And the other ones from that group. He was good in those. Where do you want to travel? Man, where don't I want to travel? What number am I looking for? I'm looking for 161. I don't even know what color 161 is. It's not that one. Where do I want to travel? There's a lot of places I would like to travel. Alaska is a road trip to Alaska, driving up the Alcan Highway all the way up to Alaska, and then road tripping through the interior of Alaska. I want to drive it. I don't want to fly to Alaska, and no, I want to drive up to Alaska, driving up through BC and up the Alcan Highway, so that I can stop and see the sights along the way, and then road trip around the interior of Alaska. Yes, that's what I want to do. 161. There it is. I'm already liking these EverMoment drills. And I would also like to go to Australia. I want to go see Australia. It's one of my want to do things. And I'd kind of like to go see Tokyo and Japan in general. I would love to do that. It's one thing I never got to do in the Navy, and a lot of guys I knew in the Navy ended up getting stationed in like Okinawa. So they were kind of lucky because they got to go to Japan and live there for a while and take in the culture like for real. And I really would like to have done that. But yeah, I'd like Japan. I'd like to go to Japan sometime. I've been to Hong Kong and I like the culture there. I had a good time in Hong Kong. What I remember of it. I kind of drank my way around Hong Kong, but it was a beautiful city and the people were really friendly. But that was back when Hong Kong was still under the rule of Great Britain. So they no longer are. Now they're under the rule of China, so it may be different there now. I may not even be able to get in there now. But yeah, those are my destinations that I would like to see. I would also like to take the trek to the base camp of Mount Everest. I would love to go to Nepal and take the trek to the base camp of Everest. There's no way I would ever climb Everest, but I would love to go to the base camp and just see it in person and see Everest in person. Which ocean is your favorite and why? The Atlantic. I grew up right at the Atlantic. I used to go to the beach all the time. I miss the beach. I want to go back to the beach. We don't have beaches in North Dakota. Well, we got lakes, if you call them beaches, with like little sandy areas, swimming areas in some of them, but no, I like the beach with the boardwalk and the girls and the rides and the french fries. Yeah, I like the boardwalk. Have you ever been in Europe? I have been in Naples, Italy for 2.5 hours for a layover there, and I have been to an airport in Scotland. I'm thinking it was probably around Lockerbie area, that airport where the TWA flight crashed from. I spent like 3 hours in the airport there for a layover. Never got to get out and see the city. Now at the Naples, Italy, we did get to leave the airport and we went over to this little like cafe type place, and they had slot machines. While you waited in line to go through the line to get up to the counter to order your food, you had rows of slot machines right along where the line lined up. And so I played a nickel slot machine and I hit the jackpot. And this thing didn't spit out stickers back then, or little receipts back then that you turned in for cash. No. They spit out nickels. Now you imagine somebody walking around with two, I think, if I remember correctly, because this was so long ago, I think it was like $250 was the jackpot on this machine, and it spit all of it out in nickels. And I had to grab a tray at the line, because you went through the line, you grabbed a tray like you did kind of cafeteria style. Only when you got up there, you ordered your food, and then they put it on your tray at the end of the line or something. And I just remember having to get a second tray that I could stack all of my nickels on top of. And I get to the end of the line where the cash register is, and I'm like, hey, I've got all these nickels, can you cash them in for money? And they're like, oh no, can't do that. Well, at the time, Bugle Boy pants were popular, and that's what I was wearing. I had the Bugle Boy cargo pants, had all the pockets up and down the legs. I had every pocket so full of nickels I could barely close the pockets. And I walked around, I sounded like, I don't even know what I sound like. Jink, 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 jink. Yeah, jingling everywhere. Imagine going through the metal detector at an airport to get back into the airport to catch your connection. Luckily, I was on a military MAC flight, and I didn't have to worry too much about that, but I still had to go through the metal detector. And imagine having to empty all of that out to go through a metal detector. Yep, there we go. So yeah, that was my stories. And of course Scotland, all that did was just get me ready for the 14-hour flight back to the U.S. Right next to our gate where we had to wait for our flight to go back out in Scotland was the duty-free liquor store. So, being a bunch of sailors, we all went to the duty-free liquor store. And we all bought a bunch of liquor. And instead of taking it back on the plane with us, we all went in the bathroom there at the gate, right where we were at. And we stood around and we opened up the bottles, and we each took a drink of our own bottle and then passed it on to the guy next to us. So here you got a big circle of guys with all of this duty-free liquor, and you take a drink of a bottle, you pass it to the guy beside you, and while you're passing it to the one beside you, you're getting one from your other side. So it's just take a drink, pass it on, take a drink, pass it on, till the bottles were gone. Yep. Yeah. I don't remember the flight back to the States. I remember waking up in Philadelphia and I was still drunk. Called my mom and said, Mom, come get me, I'm in Philadelphia. She said, no, I can't do that because you're supposed to be going to San Diego. And I'm like, but I'm in Philadelphia, I'm almost home. She's like, I can't come get you. I'm like, but I'm in Philadelphia. So, yeah, I was still pretty wasted when I got back on U.S. soil. I kind of slept through all the flights getting me to San Diego as well. So, yep. Do you love history? Yes. Yes, I love history. I love studying history. I love watching history documentaries. I also like watching science documentaries, like the astrophysics out there stuff where they talk about, the universe and the rules of the universe and that kind of stuff. I love those kind of things. Yes, I love history, especially the 1861 to 1865 era, the Civil War era. I'm a huge Civil War buff. Who is your favorite king in world history? No. Which one do you prefer, George Washington or Thomas Jefferson? George Washington. Which one is your favorite, Barack Obama or George Bush? Really? This was definitely written by a millennial. Because my favorite precedes both of them. It's Ronald Reagan. Do you believe that Trump will make... Never mind, let's skip that one. Do you have the right to vote in U.S. elections? Yes. Which candidate was your favorite during the latest U.S. presidential elections? Because I don't discuss politics on this channel, and I never will, and I don't need the comment section being lit up with people's comments about who I voted for, I refrain to answer that question. What do you think about the Russia's leader, Putin? I don't know. I don't know the guy. He's my leader, so why do I care? How do you describe yourself? I say I'm funny, and I care a lot about people. Sometimes too much gets me in trouble. I'm too giving, too nice. As far as being in a relationship goes, I always put myself second in a relationship until I get to a point where I feel like I need to be put first, and then it becomes a problem because usually they're so used to being put first that they don't want it to go the other way around, which is why I'm not in a relationship now. So yeah, I'm funny, kind, I'm definitely smart. I know I am. I don't tend to ever say I'm not. Sometimes I act dumb, and I think I do that on purpose a lot, because then people would expect too much from me. So yeah, that's me. What's next? Let's scroll down. Do you have siblings, and how many? Yes, I have 3 half-sisters. I have 3 half-sisters, one in Sacramento, California, one in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and one in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. How many books do you read during summer vacations? What's a summer vacation? How many books have you read in 2017? I don't know. I didn't read anything during 2017. If I did, I don't remember. I've slept since then. Are you a technology lover? If not, why? Yeah, I'm all on board with technology. I'm fully supportive of technology. I don't know that I'm a big fan of The Search for AI. I've seen that movie. It's called The Matrix. And once you give computers the power to think for themselves and to have emotion, even simulated emotion, you run into a situation where, simply because of their technological superiority to our brain and being able to think faster than we do, they would have the upper hand and machines would take over the world. I firmly believe that. Um, which do you prefer, Windows or Mac? I'm a Windows kind of guy. Windows all the way. Always have been a Windows guy. Don't ask me why. 318s. Should have 1,474 of these. Okay, there's the other ones. No, that's 414s. Those are 318s. Yeah, the light here is causing my colors to be really off today. I don't know why. This camera is not the best for... Yeah, I'm a Windows kind of guy. I learned computers on Windows. I learned how to do everything that I know how to do on a computer in Windows. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of partial to it. I've never tried a Mac. Being in the design field and having done design work, I've had a lot of people tell me that if I'm going to continue with design, I need to get a Mac and do all of my design work on a Mac because it's just better for that. And I know enough about Mac to know that that probably is better for that kind of work. I just don't have one. Never could afford one yet. Which brand is your favorite, Apple or Samsung? Samsung. You ever notice that the Samsung Galaxy comes out with something and then the next version of the iPhone comes out with it afterwards? Samsung's ahead of the game, people. Everybody likes that iPhone because it's a big, shiny, flashy name. But, you know, Samsung got them beat. They come out bigger, stronger, faster, better. And then iPhone comes out with their next version to mimic it. So Samsung did it first, you know. Just remember that. Yeah, I don't jump on the Apple bandwagon, just having to buy everything Apple. No, I like innovation. So I support Samsung and Android. That's where your innovation's coming in at. Which operational systems user are you? iOS or Android? Android. Who's the most valuable person in the tech world, Steve Jobs or Bill Gates? Now, if we're going to go that route and say who's the most valuable in the tech world, both of those guys deserve an equal amount of credit for where we are technologically today. If it hadn't have been for those two, and both of them have brilliant minds, if it hadn't have been for both of them developing what they developed and entering the competitions with each other that they've entered, that they've gone through, we wouldn't have the technology we have today because of those two. So both of them are just as equally important in the technology world. Who is your favorite male YouTuber? My favorite male YouTuber. As far as diamond painting YouTubing goes, it's a toss-up between Queenie and Jeremy. They're both great people. Just great YouTubers. YouTube in general. Favorite male YouTuber in general. I don't even know if he's still around. It was a channel, and it was actually several college guys. And they had a channel called, Is It a Good Idea to Microwave This? Those were my favorite male YouTubers. They were hilarious. Watching them microwave anything and everything you could just randomly imagine, putting it in a microwave, and every episode was some kind of a different item. And they were just hilarious to watch, these guys. They were my favorite male YouTubers outside of the DP community. Favorite female YouTuber? All of you ladies in the DP community, hands down, you're all my favorite female YouTuber. All of you. How do you feel right now? I feel like I'm doing a video and I'm just sitting here in the house, kind of chilling out. I didn't feel good this morning. I called out of work this morning. Still kind of feeling a little yucky, but not that bad. Not feeling horrible. Can you remember the first time you felt angry? No. Can you remember the first time you laughed? No. Who is your favorite comedy movies actor? Adam Sandler. Hands down, Adam Sandler. The funniest. Who's your favorite stand-up comedian and why? I like Jim Brewer. I've met him. He is hilarious in person. He is the same hilarious guy in person that you will see on stage when he does his stand-up bit. He's just a great all-around dude. And he's a metal fan on top of that. So yeah, Jim Brewer. Which Home Alone movie is your favorite? The first one. The first one's always the best. But none of the Home Alone movies beat National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Christmas Vacation was the best. 414. Man, this thing has so many similar colors that are all about the same. Ugh. Oh, there it is. 414. When was the last time you cried? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. Probably watching a movie or something having to do with NASCAR. Sometimes I get a little choked up watching some of the old NASCAR races, some of the, more meaningful finishes, that kind of thing. Yeah, probably them, but I don't cry that much, so yeah. Next. Do you know where you will be in your career in 10 years? No. I don't even know where I'll be in my career next year, let alone 10 years. Do you love your work, and is this your dream work? No. My dream work, I would be floating in space, a couple hundred miles up there in the space station right now. But I'm not. So I'm not doing my dream work. Do I love my work? I love my work. I love what I do at my job. I just don't like having a job that I have to get up and go to every day. Which, of course, me saying that has had people really come down on me about that. But they say I'm lazy. No, I just don't want to have to get up every morning and go to somebody else and give my time to somebody else every single day. It's my time. Not theirs, my time. What is your favorite moment from childhood? I have a few, but the one that really stands out was my first NASCAR race. I was 9 years old. I went to Talladega in Alabama. I was spending 2 summers in Anniston, and went to Talladega one year, and that was awesome. That's why I'm a NASCAR fan now, because of that day. Which is your favorite animal and why? Didn't we already have that question? Hank. Hank is my favorite animal. Why? Because he's Hank. That's why. Do you have pets, cat or dog? Obviously, I got a cat. I got a Hank. Don't I? Do I got a Hank? Yeah? Okay. He says I do. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I need no more input. Not right now. Do you love fishing? If yes, then why? I like fishing. I don't say I love fishing. I enjoy it when I do it, but I don't necessarily love it. It's just another recreational hobby for me that I can do. I haven't done in a long time, but I would love to start doing again. Now that I finally got a North Dakota driver's license, I can get a North Dakota fishing license and hunting license, so I can start getting back into the things I enjoy. Which I enjoy diamond painting, don't get me wrong. I enjoy making YouTube videos and conversing with you all, too. Don't get me wrong. But there are other things I do enjoy, too. And I need to start doing those things, too, at some point. Again. One day. Which is your favorite burger and why? Five Guys. Five Guys bacon cheeseburger. Oh my God. That's all I gotta say about that. It's the best. Gotta get one. If you got a Five Guys, you've never been there, go. Get the Five Guys bacon cheeseburger. All the way. Gotta get it all the way. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. Yeah, you know you're knocking my camera around with your tail, right? You don't really care, do you? Okay. Which one do you prefer, Coke or Pepsi? If I have to drink cola flavor, Coke. It just seems to be the one that I always end up getting. I don't know why. To be honest, I don't find a difference in the flavor at all. So, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't taste the difference between Coke and Pepsi. To me, it's cola flavored. So, yeah. So, that is the end of the tag. I think that is probably the most non-interesting tag on the internet. I think it was some of the weirdest questions I think I've ever seen answered on the internet. Like, I don't get it. But now you know a little bit more about me and the way I think and the way I do things. And honestly, the way this has gone so far, I don't even know if I feel like even uploading this video. Because I kind of figured it would be more interesting than what it has been. But you got some Hank time, so maybe I will upload it. Yeah. Hank's my buddy. Hank is my little buddy. Alright. So yeah, there's the get to know me tag. I'm going to end the video here because... Yeah, I see you looking at me. Hi there. I'm going to end the video now because I've got a lot of kit up left to do, and I can't talk and kit at the same time when I'm dealing with this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm going to get this all kitted up, and then maybe my next video you'll actually see me starting on this kit, because I really like to get started on it. Can't wait. I know it's going to be confetti hell, but at this point, it's going to be worth it when it gets done, because that is just an absolutely wonderful picture of Hank. It really, ow! It really is a wonderful picture of Hank. So, alright, you all have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. It is Thursday here for me today. You'll get this video later tonight, hopefully. And until I see you all again, rock on, y'all. Yeah, and I'm getting... Ow! Y'all have a great day.